And joining us now to discuss all of this is Ariel Kahana, diplomatic correspondent at Israel Hayom. Thank you for joining.
Shalom, Sivan. It's good to be with you from the UAE.
Thank you. Now, let's start with today's meeting. Netanyahu and Trump are meeting as we speak in Washington, D.C. In your view, what is the main objective of this visit?
So I would say there are a few. First of all, I think it's very important to note that Netanyahu and Trump just met about 2 months ago. And I can't recall in the last 16 years I'm covering diplomatic issues that an American president is calling the Israeli Prime Minister from now to now and tell him immediately come to see me at the White House. We never saw such an event happening. And still, as you said, it's taking place today at the White House. Now, I think from both sides, the main topic is going to be the tariffs. Trump wants to show, I guess, the American public that the world leaders, and Netanyahu is definitely a very famous world leader, he wants to show world leaders, the American public that world leaders are coming to negotiate with him about the tariffs, that the move he decided, he announced last week is successful. So that's the reason why he called Netanyahu, Bibi is the way he calls him, to come quickly to the White House. Netanyahu, from his point of view as well, he wants the tariff 17% from over Israel is very high. Definitely, he wants it to reduce it. Maybe he will get even going back to zero as it used to be. But in any case, it's of course Netanyahu's interest to at least lower the limit of the tariffs over Israeli products. And I guess that we will see such an announcement sooner or later. Now, on top of all that, and that is also very important, we have, of course, the Iranian nuclear program, which comes to a very critical moment, and the war in Gaza, the hostages, the war in Syria, the war in Lebanon, etc., etc. The plate is full, Sivan.
So, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. So trade and tariffs are officially on the agenda, but behind closed doors, how central do you think Iran is to the conversation?
At least from Israeli point of view, it's very essential, because just today there is an article in the Iranian formal newspaper by the government which says or explain, let's say, a very old decision by the supreme leader Ali Khamenei. Many years ago, he said Iran will never use nuclear weapon. Today, the article is claiming that what Khamenei meant to say is we will not use a nuclear weapon. But from their point of view, it is okay to deploy it and even to develop it. In other words, they're getting close, very close to a point where they're going to have or might have nuclear weapon from Israeli point of view, but also from Trump point of view. This is a very dangerous moment. He will not let it happen. But Israel, which, we are much closer to Iran than America, from Israeli point of view, it's a very critical moment, and I'm sure Netanyahu will raise that issue, and both leaders will talk about it very seriously. Of course, we saw all the deployment of airplanes, bombers, and so on all around the Middle East and close to Iran. So the tension regarding Iran is very, very high.
Now, we're hearing that Israel is signaling readiness to strike Iran's nuclear sites if needed, and the U.S. deployed a second THAAD battery to Israel as well. How serious is this message and the way it's reflected? What could an attack even look like operationally? So
I don't want to go into military aspects. It's not my expertise, but in any case, it's Israeli secrets, and I will not, of course, help the enemy to know. What I can say for sure, Sivan, is that Israel has an ability to attack very, very sharply, very hard Iranian facilities. We saw that happening on October 24. And as we all know, Iran's skies are open actually to additional Israeli hit. Now, whether Israel can destroy it, cannot destroy it, or whether American tools are stronger, definitely there are. But the ability is over there, and even to take the plan back for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years will be very important from Israeli point of view. And I'll tell you what, the Iranians know it very well, because you see the leaders talking about such an option, threatening back Israel, threatening back America not to attack their facilities. So they know very well Israel might attack them every day, actually.
So Israel says it could potentially act alone, but also admits it would need U.S. coordination and agreement to such an attack. What kind of support does Israel realistically need from Washington to go ahead with a strike on Iran, should that be on the table?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Of course, I'm not aware to an agreement between Israel and America about how to attack Iran, if at all. But you are very right, Sivan, that it would be, let's say, much, much better from Israeli point of view that if an attack will occur, then American troops will at least help Israel to protect itself, and actually not only Israel, but the entire region, all American allies in the Gulf. As I told you, I am now in the mid-conference in the UAE. Probably if Iran will be attacked, it will fight back against the UAE, the Saudis, maybe even Qatar, Bahrain, and many other states. At least that's what they threaten to do. So for sure, in any case, you have to have a very strong deployment of protection by American troops, as like the TIDE missiles we just seeing, and Patriot missiles, and all defense system, as we saw, by the way, in the both Iranian attacks against Israel during last year. So at least you will see that. But of course, the American abilities to attack Iran are much stronger than Israel. They have the bomb against that goes very deeply underground and so on. Israel doesn't have it. Israel doesn't have bombers. The numbers of the aircrafts we have are of course much smaller, etc., etc. So if America would like to join an attack over Iran, I'm sure Netanyahu will be happy. But at least a defense will be also very, very helpful for Israel. Actually, we quite need it.
So from the U.S. side, how aligned are American interests right now with Israel's push for more aggressive action on Iran? Are there divisions within the U.S. administration on this?
So that's again a very good question. If you go to some parts from supporters, like those Islamists, like you call them, I hope I said it right, in the MAGA movement and so on. Some of them are, in my opinion, trying to ignore what the reality is, as if Iran doesn't threaten America. But that's not true, because Iran is threatening America, and the missiles that today can reach Israel will one day be able to reach America with nuclear heads. No one should have any mistake about that. Just yesterday, Israeli intelligence exposed additional documents that says very, very clearly that Iran still wants to destroy Israel, but also to destroy America. So I know there are some voices in America who are saying, no, it's not our business. Let's just focus on what's going on inside. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, Sivan, it's a huge mistake. Iran is a threat not only to Israel and not only to the entire world, but mainly to America, because America is a democracy, is a free democracy, while Iran wants to export all around the world their extreme religious ideology. And we all know Iran is exporting terror all around the globe. And if America will not act now, it will pay the price. I'm sorry to say it, but it will pay the price in the future.
So having said all of that, what's your personal sense of where this all heads next? Are we on a path to diplomacy or to confrontation when it comes to Iran's nuclear ambitions?
I'll tell you what I'm confident about, and that is that Trump will not go to a bad deal. Trump understands very well how Iran is dangerous to America and to the entire world, as we said. So I'm sure he will not go to a bad deal like some Israelis are afraid of. Now, whether it will end with a deal or with a bomb, that is in the Iranian hands. Because you can hear some different voices in Iran. Some of them do want to go to negotiations, some do not. So I can't tell you what will be the decision from Tehran. But from America's point of view, as far as I understand it, Iran will not, as Trump is saying day after day, Iran will not have the ability to have nuclear weapon. Now, again, it's in Iranian hands to decide whether this no Iranian nuclear facility, will that happen by an agreement or by a bomb? Again, it's in Tehran's hands to decide.
And so finally, I'll ask you, looking at the bigger picture here, there's Gaza and Iran, shifting alliances in the region. How pivotal is this moment for U.S.-Israel relations?
It's very important. I guess the coming weeks will be crucial because, again, Iran is reaching a point that a decision will have to happen. Going back to the meeting we were discussing before, I guess it will be even more important from the one Trump and Netanyahu had on the beginning of February, because now it's time to make decisions that really we just can't wait anymore. The time is very, very short, and we hear the threats from Iran every day. We see the preparations from America and from Israel. So it's time to make decisions.
Ariel Kahana, thank you very much for all of this really important
Thank you very much, Sivan.
input. Thank you.
Thank you.